Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Tom Wood from Trinity One Metals. Tom, you just put out some significant news today. You've just acquired a high-grade silver past producing mine. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, Tracy, and thank you very much for having me on your program. I really appreciate it. Um, so we're very excited about this project. It currently has a exploration target of 200,000 tons to 700,000 tons at between 500 and 800 grams per ton silver. And we believe that we can expand on this exploration target with an additional target of 5 million tons at roughly 600 grams per ton silver. Now, the reason why we think we can do that is because when this was historically mined, they only mined a single vein in a single sector. And actually identified at the time an additional sector, the Shanaste sector. And each of these sectors, we believe, will have more or less similar grade on them. That's sort of what we've seen from the geological reports that we've been provided in association with this transaction. And so if we get the strike length to a kilometer, now it started at 500, so if we extend it 250 meters each way, and the width is 2 meters, and if we can get the depth to 500, now they only mined this thing down to 90, so it's not a super deep underground mine, and this is an underground mine as well, by the way. If we can get this down to 500, well then at a gravity of three, well, then we're at 3 million tons. And so we believe that we can do that in a single sector. Now, we know that there are multiple sectors, and considering that these veins often are stacked or in swarms, we think that we can expand this further. So we've made a conservative estimate of 5 million tons at 600 grams per ton silver. But our initial starting estimate, where we're starting right off the bat, that we are very confident of, is between 200,000 tons and 700,000 tons at 800 grams per ton silver.
Okay, well, I'm just going to back you up a little bit. I read the details of this deal today, and it's quite remarkable. Okay, it looks like the terms are just fantastic. Was that
Yep.
you, Tom, or who on your team? Do you mind me asking? Are you just, I mean, you just announced a new director, okay?
Yep. Yep.
Scott
Scott
Eldridge.
Eldridge, who's
Did
a fantastic addition to the team.
I was going to say, did Scott have anything to do with this deal, or can you give us any of the details on how this deal was brought together?
So initially, I identified this project just through historical reports. There's a few academic reports on this project out there, and it was in production at the time. So you can find sort of information on previous operators throughout the late 80s and the early 90s. And the UN actually first discovered this project in 1966. So there's a fair amount of information on this project that's publicly available, and that's how I first identified it. And then we had been searching for a silver asset in South America because we think South America is a fantastic jurisdiction to do mining in, and it's a fantastic jurisdiction for silver and has an excellent history for this metal. And this one was the one that by far stood out the most as the one that we could restart the fastest, have the highest confidence of what we thought was there. And I approached a lawyer down in country in Ecuador, and he actually knew the lawyers who had inherited the project, and we were able to do a deal with them alongside the geologist from when this project was in production. So we've gotten some fantastic information from him on what the production numbers were at the time and what he believes is still there. And we sort of packaged it up together. And the deal is that we're giving them $540,000 US in cash and 5 million shares. And that cash payment is staged over a number of months. And then the $5 million, I'm sorry, the 5 million shares are staged with one third of those shares being released every year for 3 years. So we think it's a fantastic deal for shareholders. And we also think it's a fantastic deal for the vendors because with shares, they're going to have exposure to a fantastic company. And we think that there's a lot we can do here. And John, the geologist, has come on as our lead project geologist. So we've really got the best in the business when it comes to this mine in particular. He's got 30 years experience on this mine. And so we're not starting from the beginning. We're starting hitting the ground running.
Well, it certainly appears that you are on every level. So let's just go through a quick checklist. Ecuador. What drew you to Ecuador?
Well, Ecuador actually has a fantastic history when it comes to mining, all the way back to the 1500s, really. I mean, that's why the Spanish ended up there. But even in recent times, Fruta del Norte, Lundin Gold, that's a $30 billion company, and they're right next door to us. So there's a fantastic amount of opportunity in Ecuador. And we're very confident that we can get this mine going under our existing permitting. So we don't need any new permitting, and we don't need a environmental report because that is actually already still valid from when it was a previous mine. And the previous company that owned it actually renewed their environmental report in 2007. And so we really believe that we don't need to deal with any of the sort of long-term governance delays. We can get this straight out of the bat into a sort of a restart program, and certainly a very detailed exploration program. But Ecuador is a fantastic place for mining, and we've seen that with the Lundin Gold, and hopefully we can see it with Trinity in the future.
Well, China has just announced export bans on silver. How did you know silver would be one of the most exciting critical minerals? Of course, the Americans just put silver in their critical mineral list in the last, what, couple of months? How did you pick? How did you get so lucky with picking the right critical mineral?
Well, I don't know if it was luck, but I would certainly say that back in July, I was very keen on the company getting a silver asset. So I joined the company in July, and I was very keen on us getting exposure to silver because the silver price then was about $35. And if you look at and the gold price had already gone for a run. So if you look at the historical ratio between silver and gold, that ratio was totally out of whack. And so there was a strong expectation that silver would follow. And I wanted this company to be positioned for when it did. And now that it has, we are positioned. And that's what we've seen post announcing this acquisition. That
Well, I just heard about Trinity One Metals through a respected colleague, and you just joined in July. You brought on, I was just mentioning one of your board members who has an impressive career. Can you tell us about anybody else who's new to the team in the last couple of months?
yeah, so we've also had Robert Payment join as a director to the company. And he's actually been with the company as CFO for a bit over a year now, and he does a fantastic job in terms of getting everything all sorted and compliant and making sure that our books are um, good. And then we've also got coming onto this as a result of this transaction, coming onto the team as a result of the transaction, John Bolaños, who's the historic geologist for this project, and he'll be coming on as our lead geologist. And then also in Mongolia, we have the Victory Copper Gold Project, and we have a team there in Mongolia who do consulting work for us and have done for quite a while. And I'm not here to talk about that today, but we are very confident in that project too and very excited.
Trinity One Metals, which I have to admit, Tom, I love your trading symbol, which is Tom. Fantastic. Was
Yeah.
intriguing to me as well because we have been following projects in Mongolia and Australia. Can you just touch on kind of an overview about what your vision is for the company and reference your other projects, please?
Absolutely. So our vision is to be is to build a portfolio of precious metals assets, high quality precious metals assets that we believe have all the indicators for growth. And that's really what we focus on as a company is growing a resource and creating value for shareholders. And certainly we have that in Mongolia. The Victory project is early stage, and we have a drill program already in place and permitted and ready to go for that. And that's something that we'll certainly be moving forward on this year. It's a copper gold project in a fantastic jurisdiction. As you know, Mongolia is an excellent place to do business, and plenty of Canadian companies have been there before, including there's the OT mine in Mongolia, which is one of the world's largest mines. And now in Ecuador, we believe that we have fantastic exposure to the silver that is in the ground there. And in Australia, we have some early stage exploration projects as well, which we think there's considerable upside for.
So, what should investors be looking forward to in the upcoming quarter? Because it seems like you're moving really quickly.
So in the upcoming quarter, we've got a very aggressive program planned. We are going to start off by getting some induced polarization work and resistivity done at our new silver project in Ecuador, the Silver One mine. That should help us identify some new high priority drill targets, which will help us to verify our exploration target and to be able to expand into our new exploration target. Um, and we're also looking to verify an existing tailings facility, which is on site at the Silver One mine. There's about 200,000 tons of tailings there at roughly 3 ounces per ton silver. So if we are able to verify that and build a simple flow sheet for that, would be an excellent early revenue opportunity for the company. And then if we go over to Mongolia, we've got a drill program planned there with some fantastic targets that we believe hopefully we'll have some fantastic results once we get some drills in the ground.
Well, you heard it here first on Investor News. Trinity One Metals. Again, go to the following website. Tom, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracy.